Okay. All right. We're live. Yeah. Red lights flashing. Numbers clacking away. I can see myself. We're moving. Clicking away. All right. So this is earlier in the day, windy ass day. I might add. This is chronologically out of order. I did two last night. I'm pretty sure it was last night. I did, or the other day, whatever. The two earlier ones to that, and what happened was I got split up in the middle of making it. I get the radio pop up for going online, and this is I'm doing it this way because I want to show you the flat out nature of this mall, right? This is new construction. Last part 3 I did was old granite, old stuff that was, all of it was at least 100 years old. And the average is like 120 to 130 years old. The newest thing was the parking garage, which is roughly my age, right? All right, so I was here when there was a bunch of lights on, and it was a great video, artsy fartsy, you know, and it gives kind of a one side of the city. That it was right before New Year's or New Year's Eve, and it was kind of deadish. Now this is the New Year, brand new year. I think we're on the first day. We're on Thursday. Yep. We're talking about new construction, slab construction. We're talking about them bringing in slabs of concrete material that are surfaced to look like brick, and the need for the incredible glut we have for sand to make our modern world. And you see here, well, I wanted to do this in the day, you can see how much of, hopefully, of this is cracking, and I'm right here in this area, right, crack central. And it goes over there, spalling, they call that. I'm pretty sure in asphalt it's the same as with concrete. That's called spalling. And those are hairline cracks that develop because the material, whether it's the tar or the Portland cement, is not sticking well to the aggregate, and it's not holding together, and so you get a spalling, the spalling process, right? So I'm doing this chronologically out of order, but I had wanted to, I thought, come back to the same spot that I did that during the day, during the night, and give you a better view of it here, right? Now, there's a lot of places around the country here, at least in the Northeast, that are familiar with this. I grew up in Connecticut, in New London, with a very similar kind of thing. In the 60s, they renovated it in the late 90s, in the 2000s, and just kind of, they busted it in half. And so some of the stores were, they all kind of had an outside, it's hard to explain. They were, they cut it in half basically, and the store and what was inside became an outside walkway and blah, 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 right? So they pumped maybe a new life into it. Okay, fine. And then plopped a new store here or a new store there, right? So we're in the Shaw's Pit. I explained about that, how they landmark everything of what it used to be. I don't know if they do that anyway. Oh, 444. And so 444, make a wish. So I wanted to show during the daytime, and this is my home away from home. I guess during the daytime, you can see behind me, right on the roof, behind the roof, right? And in a couple places, some of the old buildings, right? And you see some of the new buildings, old buildings. That's why this place here is a perfect kind of nexus for old meets new, and this kind of exiting of the old and the coming in of the new, and the new buildings versus what had been here for, some hundreds of years. Took 50, 60 years to make a building, now takes, oh good God, 50 or 60 days or 50 or 60 weeks maybe, or not nearly as long. And they plop them up in slab construction, and that's important. They kind of click all this stuff together. The IKEA world we live in. And so the general purpose of this of the series here, of the final exam series, is to give a view of what I've kind of learned and how I've grown in the city, and how it's kind of moved me along in a career or a pathway or something, relative to how I came in, right? I think that's a general kind of principle. It's unscripted generally. It's unedited, that's for sure. And I'm trying to do this spontaneously, but I find I really do need a script, because number one, I like that. I'm used to it. I need a point that I can kind of go back to. So even if it's a kind of a loose written script, I like having one of those going into it. And the sun's going down, right, behind the clouds, and I still like the fact that you can't really see, even though I don't have much detail. That's fine. I still like this. It's an artsy thing. This final exam series basically happened as a result of me losing the studio, right? So either I could stop doing videos, or I could shift gears and do some more personal stuff. So everything, the channel is about Schumann resonances and geoelectrical, atmospheric electromagnetics and all that stuff. And I don't forget it. I don't, it's not forgotten. But that's the academic pursuit. And part of the final exam series is that the teacher, the mentor, the guy who's been, who knows the most about it, who's been kind of running a educational program on it, back to school. So I've become the student once again. And the final exam series is, among other things, it's an appeal for funding. Perhaps you can, invest in the U-Haul fund, or maybe the coffee fund. I don't know, whatever. 808. Okay. So I think I've mentioned this in the other videos. And I think that's it's important. So the final exam series is kind of it's a personal view from me, right? And I've spent a lot of time explaining how the technical part of the atmospheric electromagnetics work at the master's level, okay? And all of the channels need to kind of keep introducing new material. And so even if you came here looking for Schumann resonances, I still have a lot of stuff. I'll still answer the questions and the comments, and I haven't stepped away from that. But like I said, I've lost the studio, and so now it's like I've kind of graduated as well. And so, having gone to tech school and technical training, there's always a theory, a part of the education that's the theory. There's the academic part, the book knowledge, learning the code or whatever. And then the other half of it, at least half, is the application. Okay, so I've done a lot of Schumann resonances. I've done a lot of atmospheric electromagnetics from the perspective of the book knowledge, and I have a lot of research and text up there and all of that. But now, among other things, especially moving on here in the series, we're talking about the on-the-job training, and that relates to a number of different things relative to my work experience, my personal lived experience, things I've done for a long time, for a short time, up to and including construction, and my love for architecture. So this is where we start kind of, I guess, if I can, enveloping my love for architecture and building in general, for construction, with understanding of and knowledge of different types of rocks and stones, studying that in itself is a lifetime pursuit, right? And learning about how different type of rocks and stone crust convey electrical signals or current through the material, the peroxy bonds. And where it gets important on an everyday level is the cracking. Right? Why is it cracking? Well, number one, because it's so close to a wetland. Right? That's number one. How they fill it in, what they fill it in with. We're part of this series, the series in general, but this chapter, the on-the-job training series, or on-the-job training sub-series, or chapter of it, like I said, involves understanding of difference of construction techniques and methods and the protocols on a technical level. The channel has always been about the technical and scientific and mechanical and equipment side of the Schumann resonances and the detecting atmospheric electromagnetics, the VLF, and the hardware angle, and not the metaphysical and the speculative. Oh, it's some 5D bolt stuff. No, very hands-on, ground level, to where I've helped install antennas. I've worked on antennas, and I know other people who have worked on even huge antennas, like tall antennas, big, real broadcast antennas. I've worked at the college level more than, in the studio. I had been wanting to work in a professional studio, but I didn't get that far. So I've worked in a couple different college and real small radio stations, right? So, just to kind of put where my limits of this are. But I'm always interested in learning more about broadcast from people who've done more and greater. And I couldn't work on the big ass. I can't. I'm not climbing up there. I'm not, hands up to those who can. Yeah. So anyway, so we're bringing, I've only given you the science and science-tech of the Schumann resonances, not the metaphysics, not that there isn't some. I don't care about what other people do in their space. That's not what my thing of this is. There is a metaphysics involved, sure, but it's like the truth of the matter, the science behind it is much more entertaining, much more fascinating than the myths that go into support a bad narrative, right? So, even though I'm still, we're still understanding about the Schumann resonances and all of that, like, you also have to understand more about kind of the earth ground. And what I've maintained is that one of the things that I've talked about, I'm not sure if this relates or it's a side topic, whatever. One of the things I've talked about are new forms of rock and stone that humans have created, one of which is asphalt, another of which is concrete, and there's this other kind of thing they call urbanite, which is a mix of kind of all of that. And then there are ceramic stones that are used in countertop, in fascia, and all of that stuff. So I have had a discussion with people of whether or not, concrete counts as a type of stone, a new type of stone, but I will tell you that nature does produce a type of concrete. If you've seen a rock slide or mudslide that's got chunks, cars buried in the stuff, volcanic ash, the pyroplastic stuff that turns into a slurry that starts moving and then it buries things. That's like a type of cement. You are going to have a difficult ass fucking time getting through that stuff. Not that you can't, but it shit gets encased in that, right? So there is a natural type of stone, and you can't discount it. And so part of one of the discussions of this part 4 and 5 and all of this is the discussion about the sand, about the black market trade in sand, creating an inferior grade of building material, of aggregate, that creates a lot of the substandard construction that they have now, right? And this isn't a conspiracy theory thing. It's like, oh no, there's videos on YouTube about it, and it's like, I'm not even going to give you the number, but it's one of the highest grossing black market items that's out there, right? Billions, beyond billions. Just, it's huge. It's astronomical, but it's like, well, you look at how much there's different grades of sand, okay? Different grades of it, different sizes of it. Glass needs a quartz type of a rock that you get from a certain place. They're picky in particular about that. Concrete, and a lot of times they'll crush up rocks and stones for this application as well. Knock down a mountain and crush it up. They'll use scraps from the marble and granite countertop places. They'll grind it up as aggregate for Blase and Blase B. And again, one of the things that I point out is the slab construction nature of modern construction. In the next video in 5, which I've already done, I go over to one of the local plazas, and I talk about there's a good mix of old and new buildings, and I love that kind of ability to show you the difference between the old and the new. And I talk about computer aided design and whatever that happened when I was in school. And it's kind of that becomes relevant because I'm in going back to student mode, and I'm recalling times of when I was in junior college, high school, community college. It wasn't a junior college technically; it was a community college. I'm not sure what the difference is. It's 2 year. Either way, it's 2 year. So I'm in student mode, and which means fundraising mode, and that's important to point this out. I'm with the coffee clutch. Drink the coffee; it'll make you feel better. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you leave comments, or share all of those, all the above. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos and blah, blah, blah. And I think it's important for you, and it's important for me to hear from you guys. So I appreciate the comments. Where are we at? 19 minutes, all right. So this one's going to be short because, number one, it's cold as F-bomb out here, and 2, my fingers are kind of numb, and 3, this was just kind of an interim video to kind of have a title card, which I think I'm going to be doing the title card on all of them from this point forward, because I like having that as the first thing that I see when I'm trying to kind of organize them. All right, so like I said, so getting back to the need for sand as the primary aggregate building material. However, there is other types of stuff they use, and it's getting to be other stuff as well. They chop up actually in roads, in public roads, they've actually gotten into chopping up tires. There's a huge market, I guess, business, I don't know, something, or industry about used tires that a lot of them wind up on the side of the road or whatever. But one of the things that a project, since I've been up here, one of the building projects I did with a woman who was landscaping, she had a hill and we terraced it, right? It was kind of steep hill. I told her that we should get some tires, some bigger sized tires, put them at the base of the hill, and we'll fill them all in with sand and stone and, fill, heavy fill. She had pieces of scrap metal. We'll put that in there. So from the top of it, and so we dug, kind of walkways. I started terracing it, and so whatever, I kind of dug a flat walkway into the side of the hill, and so all of that stuff, whatever I get rid of, I threw it down to the bottom of the hill, and we filled the tires in, and we also planted other like big ass planters or metal stands for planters to help stabilize the bank. And so tires can be reused. They can be, I've seen them use big tires in some of the play areas, playgrounds that in the parks that they've designed for the kids. Teenagers, adults who fancy themselves still kids, to climb on. You see them on the side of them, they're X'd out and it's still written bad, the tire, and they're all chewed up and whatever, but they're perfect for, they're not going to use them again on a loader or whatever, but it's perfect for the kids. The kids certainly aren't going to wear them out, so the used tires, it's one of those things that, this building material that they're trying to figure out something to do with, because there's an overabundance of freaking used tires that can't be, recycled or recapped or retreadified. Anyway, so building materials, aggregate materials, what do they do with the concrete, crushed up concrete from these buildings? What do they do with the crushed up, ground up asphalt when they remove it? They incorporate it back into, in a lot of cases, back into what they call urbanite, which could be a combination of chewed up asphalt, some building, which might have whatever in it, glass included. So these are all kind of new building, new construction problems, issues, things that they have to deal with. I want to talk more. I kind of want to talk more about the slab construction versus brick, and them making a lot of textured. Like, this is something that's important to know within the course of the series. you yourself may or may not want to know, or may not find this interesting, but I find this fascinating. And part of this is, once again, going over what I know and what I've been able to put together here in the college town. And this is my kind of exam. It's a review of what I've learned, and you get to see a practical side of the technical side, and of my background, right? You've already had a chance to go over the work I've done and the explanations of the Schumann resonances on the academic side, and you find whatever of that what you can, and you can find flow with that, right? So this is more of a personal, in touch with my background. Once again, me as a student, going back to basics, going back to what, that joy. Why did I get in this in the first place, right? So, it was just time for a shift. The studio got pulled out. I had a nice long run with the studio where I had double screens and a nice, camera and whatever, and I could play music. Well, we're not at that point, and I'm moving. I love having my camper van in the background. I'm moving, likely to Florida, probably Key West, Ocala. We're going to stop in Ocala, I believe. I don't know. I have no idea. You guys got to help me figure this out. So my fingers are officially numb. It's almost 30 minutes. This is a good introduction on part 4, where we're talking about new construction. The other one, the last video, the last part was downtown with all the old construction. Now it's here with all this new construction crap. And I am really legitimately frozen. I thought the sun would be out for a longer period of time, but no, it's coming out now. Yep. All right. So on that cheery note, you get a good view overall of the new, this new crap here, architecturally insignificant crap, stuff. So on that cheery note, I will, the day isn't over, but it's already been a long day. So on that cheery note, thank you all for being here. Much love. Namaste.